there must be a just transition from fossil fuels to any type of clean energy.
Nigeria trains negotiators in a move to improve agreements.
We'll make sure that we comply with the minimum standard.
The Senate begins scrutiny of 2021 supplementary budget. Dispense justice without fear or favor, Chief Justice of Nigeria tells 18 new justices of the Court of Appeal. Also tonight, removing 100 million out of poverty, 70 Kano youths bid farewell to poverty. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News, coming to you live from Abuja. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Reading with me from Lagos is Adeola Komi Akere. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has listed corruption and lack of knowledge of subject matters as some of the factors responsible for poorly drafted negotiation agreements. This was at a capacity building training for Nigerian negotiators organized by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission in collaboration with Interagency Committee on Stopping Illicit Financial Flows in the country.
Poorly drafted negotiation agreements can lead to serious financial loss for countries. The African continent is losing billions of dollars due to poorly drafted agreements, with Nigeria having its fair share. Remember the case of P&ID. To bring this to barest minimum, Nigeria's top negotiators, drawn from ministries, departments, and agencies, are undergoing capacity building aimed at equipping them with the type of clauses to look out for to protect the laws of the country and equally prevent it from losing revenue, especially through illicit financial flows. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says in drafting an agreement for the country, negotiators must take into cognizance of all the development around the subject matter of the agreement so as to protect the country's interests.
Now here we are, a gas-rich country. As a matter of fact, we are more a gas country than an oil country. We know that our gas is important, not just as a transition fuel to cleaner fuels from oil, but all over the world, the major countries are defunding gas projects, and the time may come very quickly when we'll not be able to find any money. So anyone who is going to negotiate at COP26 today, or anyone who is talking about climate change, the most important issue for us is that there must be a just transition from fossil fuels to any type of clean energy.
While checks and balances must be observed by negotiators, experts are of the opinion that there is need for negotiation guidelines.
It's first of all to get a negotiating mandate. We must know what is our national position on all these issues and what are the national interests that we want to achieve through these negotiations. Very closely related to that, of course, is that you must prepare.
The training is expected to come up with new draft guidelines for consideration.
Things are getting better in Borno State with all hands on board fighting insurgency and its after effect. But now, the governor of the state, Babagana Umar Zulum, is concerned about shifting from providing a shorter term of humanitarian support to medium and longer term sustainable solutions. To this end, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the construction of 10,000 homes in Borno State towards resettlement of internally displaced persons back to their original homes. In fighting insurgency, he says there is need to address such economic and political dimensions to the crisis, which is a reason efforts are being taken to resettle the internally displaced persons.
And then I had some discussions with Mr. President as well as Mr. Vice President to look into the possibility of returning some of our internally displaced persons, especially those that are living in the Republic of Niger and those that are living in the Republic of Cameroon, because this is very vital. We want to create access so that people can go back to their farmlands. People can cultivate their farmland and can stay on their own. Otherwise, continued dependence on food supply from donor partners including the federal government, is not sustainable. And therefore, as peace is gradually returning to Borno State, we are trying to see how we can create the enabling environment for people to earn their means of livelihood by themselves. How? One is through agriculture.
The governor who spoke to the press after a meeting with the vice president says the IDPs will be returned with dignity and adequate security.
And then the president has approved the construction of 10,000 homes in Borno State. We have support from the family homes. And then the UN system are also supporting us, all in an effort to ensure that we work towards an integrated solution, durable solution. I think this durable solution encompasses the issue of security, the issue of reconstruction, rehabilitation, and resettlement, and the issue of provision of means of livelihood.
Governor Babagana Umara Zulum of Borno State. Elsewhere, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government will look into the National Health Insurance Scheme to complement budgetary allocations to the health sector. The Vice President said this at a meeting with Nigerian-born Dr. Michael Ugweke, the Chief Executive Officer of Methodist Hospitals, Tennessee, USA. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
As Vice President Yemi Osinbajo noted, practically all of the funding for healthcare system is from the budget. And for a country of 200 million people, it would be extremely difficult to expect to resource the nation's healthcare system purely from the budget, stressing that the National Health Insurance will be one way of giving a more substantial pool of resources which can be used not only to improve infrastructure, but also improve earnings for personnel.
We have a group of
Dr. Michael Ugweke says he is in the country partly to explore areas of partnership between the federal government and the Methodist Hospital, especially in complementing efforts of the administration in transforming the healthcare system. He commends the federal government's efforts in tackling COVID-19, describing its intervention in containing the pandemic as incredibly successful.
No question that he's very committed to improving the healthcare system in the country, and even the Minister of Health was there as well, and they both pledged support in ways that they can for us to come and continue this dialogue. So I'm really excited about the opportunity.
The Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative is seeking, also supporting government in seeking ways, means of bringing in expertise, investors, and knowledge and capacity from anywhere we can find them to support the government's effort, especially in reviving our healthcare system.
Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanure, was also in attendance at the meeting. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Now to the National Assembly, where the Senate Committee on Appropriations has commenced scrutiny of the 2021 supplementary budget of 895.8 billion naira. At the first meeting of the committee involving concerned subcommittees on health and security, Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, Jibrin Barau, explained that inasmuch as the committee is committed to giving it accelerated consideration, it will not flout due process.
Because these are issues to deal with the health sector, particularly the COVID-19 vaccine, which is an urgent and emergency request. And then, of course, the military. We are going to do that urgently, but we will not compromise any of the essentials in the process. We'll make sure that we comply with the minimum standard. Yes, there's that urgency, but again, the standard is very important. We will comply with the necessary standard so that we do not breach any of the rules in dealing with this kind of situation.
The committee is working to ensure it presents its report at plenary this week. The dwindling budgetary allocation to the Nigerian Navy in the face of increasing security challenge in the maritime sector is to be addressed. The House of Representatives Committee on Navy, at a public hearing on the draft legislation in response to stakeholders' concerns, said security should be above all considerations. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The bill to establish the Nigerian Maritime Trust Fund is the latest effort of the House of Representatives to upscale infrastructure and knowledge for efficiency and professionalism in the Nigerian Navy, being a critical component of the nation's security apparatus and economic interest in the maritime sector. Some stakeholders at the hearing expressed concern pertaining to certain provisions of the proposed legislation, but the committee stressed the importance of the trust fund.
It is clear that this bill is strictly about the Navy, its personnel and facilities. The Nigerian maritime sector comprises both civilian, which is a commercial aspect, and security actors.
The source of funding for this trust fund, especially subsection 4.1a, is clearly in conflict with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Nigerian Navy had presented a budget proposal of about 200 billion in 2015, but about 8 billion was appropriated and 6 billion was released.
If you will create 10 support funds for security agencies and hold them responsible and accountable as a National Assembly to discharge their functions of representing and protecting the people of this country, the problem of insecurity will be reduced to the barest minimum.
The committee also engaged stakeholders on the bill seeking the establishment of National Hydrographic Agency.
As obtainable in countries like Canada, South Korea, South Africa, and having one in Nigeria will be of immense benefit to the nation at large.
The role of the hydrographer of the Navy should be separated completely from the role of the hydrographer of the nation.
The Nigerian Ports Authority, Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agencies all commended the initiative and suggested extensive study of existing laws to avoid duplication. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Away from the National Assembly, judicial officers have again been urged to continue to dispense justice without fear or favor. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, made the plea this Monday at the swearing-in of 18 new justices of the Court of Appeal. Dele Atumbi reports.
The elevation of these 18 former judges of the High Courts to justices of the Court of Appeal is aimed at enhancing quick dispensation of justice. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, urged the new justices to see their elevation as a judicial service which is divine. He pointed the attention of the judicial officers to the fact that the Court of Appeal is not a playground, but a place where quick dispensation of justice to all is encouraged according to the law.
Permit me to point out unambiguously that a life, gifts, and wealth that are not worked out or not worked for, which are by extension undeserving, are always wrapped in calamity and destruction. Flee from them.
The new justices promised to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. One of the 18 justices, Justice Adebukola Banjoko, is the former FCT judge that adjudicated on the money laundering allegation against former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dariye, and his Taraba State counterpart, Jolly Yame, and sentenced them to various prison terms. Turning in of the 18 justices was slated for April, but was stalled by Josun's industrial action and a suit by a group alleging the exclusion of a zone in the appointment. The suit was, however, dismissed for lacking in merit. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
More than 23 billion naira is being expended on the construction and rehabilitation of channels and canals under the Kano River Irrigation Scheme. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu says the project, which has reached 50% level of completion, is geared towards ensuring job creation and food sufficiency in the country. Yahanasu Hassan Barau has the details.
The Kano River project, designed in the year 1971, is a large-scale irrigation scheme aimed to cover an area of 58,000 acres in Kano State. Being a capital-intensive scheme, the project has over the years been accorded less attention due to over-dependence on mono-economy. The present administration quest to diversify Nigeria's economy led to the revival of dams to encourage all year-round farming. The transformation irrigation management in Nigeria, trimming, has taken the lead in such direction, where replacement of electromechanical components, installation of some monitoring components, and rehabilitation of release outlets have been carried out.
I'm quite happy. The quality of the work is good, and when you see the water flowing, then you know that the quality of the work is very good. It's not just the color of the concrete, but it's also the hydraulics.
We plan next year this time, we will finish another 6,000 hectares. Farmers have to be on the driving seat. They have to take charge and believe that this is our business, this is our property, this is our own.
Daladi Adu is a livestock farmer who sees, apart from providing their animals with water, the development has reduced the hardship of migration by his partners alike.
Before the completion of this project, we had to travel far away, but now everything is at our doorstep.
We thank God for this development.
The good news is that more than 3,000 hectares have been fully reconstructed and rehabilitated and handed over to farmers for them to have control and ownership of the project. And it is expected to provide job opportunities for more than 4,000 farmers in Kano. Yahana Sahasambaro, NTA News.
We now go on our first break on tonight's. Welcome back as we go to security matters, where the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, has solicited continued support and cooperation of traditional institutions in ending the more than a decade-long Boko Haram insurgency in Northeast. This was when he paid homage to the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbai Al-Amin El-Kanemi, as part of his operational visits to the state. Maimuna Garba reports.
The visit by the Chief of Army Staff was to seek the Sheikh's royal and fatherly blessings, prayers and guidance to enable him succeed in his new task. It is also to appreciate the royal father's unwavering support in the counter-insurgency operations, especially his role in the restoration of significant peace to the Northeast and successes recorded against the terrorists.
Your efforts have yielded several results in talking to people, and many of them have opened up and given us vital information and supporting our activities and operations, including those also who support us with prayers and intelligence.
Shehu of Borno Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbai Al-Amin El-Kanemi described the Chief of Army Staff's visit as a clear demonstration of his respect to the traditional institution, stressing that his appointment is well-deserved, which the people of Borno are happy with that.
I want you to see the possibility of allowing the farmers, because in Borno most of the people are either farmers or fishermen. So we are feeling that they should be allowed to do their fishing activities and the farming activities and other local business.
While assuring of his unalloyed support to the military, the Shehu commended the country's armed forces for the significant peace being enjoyed in the region. He appealed for the opening of Maiduguri-Damboa Road and strengthening of security along Gubio-Damasak Road, as well as stationing of military camps, especially at Mile 40, among others. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is to upscale intelligence sharing with the Senegalese armed forces to curb emerging internal security threats in the two countries. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, stated this while receiving the Inspector General of the Senegalese Armed Forces, Major General Daouda Niang, on a working visit to the Nigerian Army headquarters, Abuja. Major General Farouk notes that the prevalence of movement of small and light weapons and other trans-border crime are areas that urgently requires collaboration between the two armed forces.
And now it is even more expedient then for us to even cooperate and do things together, because no one service can do it and no one country can do it. Most importantly, there's small arms crisscrossing and adding to our challenges.
Nigeria is a key country in Africa, and mostly in Western Africa. I served in ECOMOG, so I had the chance to see physically what the leadership of Nigeria has provided for that mission. We have done things that many European countries have not reached yet.
The Senegalese Inspector General of the Armed Forces also paid a similar visit to the heads of other services. Now, about 70 youths are to bid farewell to unemployment as the federal government continues to partner to achieve the objective of removing 100 Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Mohammed Rabi Ali reports that the latest is the technical support from Dantata and Sawo in the second phase of the partnership, which is said to be yielding results in Kano.
Yes, the Industrial Training Fund has been promoting and encouraging the acquisition of skills in the nation's industry with a view to generating indigenous manpower to meet the needs of the economy. This partnership between ITF, NECA, and Dantata and Sawo is aimed at enhancing technical skills among Nigerian youth. These trainees were carefully selected across the country to undergo a 6-month program on electrical, mechanical, panel beating, computer maintenance, turning, and welding.
I like to acquire a self-employed skill.
What I'm going to acquire, I will make sure, if being given the opportunity, other people can also acquire it outside.
You need to have hand skills in order to help yourself, your parents, and the needy.
Stakeholders are of the view that government cannot do it alone. Private sectors must key in to complement its effort.
The important thing is about the skills that they are going to acquire, because the ITF NECA Technical Skills Development Program is aimed at developing the capacity and competencies of these Nigerian youths so that they will be able to be on their own.
This is something that we would like to continue to train our youth.
It is expected that at the end of the training, the beneficiaries will receive startup grants to enable them commence technical production. Muhammad Rabi Ali, NTA News.
In politics, the strategic meeting between managers of information of all progressives Congress governments at all levels and the APC Governors Forum has ended with a resolve for increased commitment towards improving media and public engagement. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports that the meeting also advocates feedbacks through enhancing relationship with the populace and the policies and programs of government.
In a statement by the Director General of the APC Governors Forum, Salihu Muhammad Lukman, the meeting resolved to sustain efforts to plan and implement media engagement strategies and programs that will be sustainable and resilient to the impact of media attacks, particularly by the opposition. Strengthening legislation, strategies and action plans with consequences for media abuse and misinformation was highlighted. The meeting also called for concerted engagement with critical media stakeholders and practitioners to have strong and well-coordinated presence in the media space by ensuring appropriate synergy between federal and state ministries, agencies and departments, local governments, development partners, the civil society partners, and the private sector. They agreed to meet quarterly to review progress and also build solidarity among managers of information at all levels in APC-led government. Under the leadership of Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information and Culture, and Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress has challenged Nigerian youth to take advantage of the party's coming congresses to seek for leadership positions at wards, local government and state organs of the party. Caretaker youth leader Ismail Ahmed made the clarion call while briefing the media at the APC National Secretariat on the communique of the APC Youth Conference held recently. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The All Progressives Congress Maiden Youth Conference was an avenue where participants share quality ideas that will fast-track the progressive ideology, particularly as it affects the youth engagement and participation. And as such, the communique showcased their passion and vision towards sustaining a prosperous APC, mainstreaming young people in the party and government, the need to set up a progressive institute, review the cost of nomination and expression of interest forms, youth empowerment through expansion of various social investment programs, and the creation of a Department of Information and Communications Technology for the APC formed highlights of the communique.
We as young people, we would like to support and encourage young progressives to contest at world congresses, local government congress, state congresses. In all national elections, we are aiming to produce at least 1,000 ward chairmen who are young people and subscribe to the idea of progressivism.
Similarly, the APC Progressive Youth Forum has passed a vote of confidence on the Buhari administration for its support to the younger generation.
And to say that all the youth in this country are strongly and solidly behind him.
We will play a vital role in the planning phase of the upcoming convention.
The youth have resolved as stakeholders to develop national unity programs to propagate activities of the party and government through an APC youth application. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The newly reconstructed 8.1 kilometers Moro Yakoyo Betumodu Ife Road in Ife North Local Government Area of Osun State has been inaugurated by Governor Boyega Oyetola after 45 years of construction. Joshua Ogunjide reports that the project is the largest road infrastructure intervention in the history of the council area since 1976.
The Ikpetumodu Market Square, Ife North Local Government Area of Osun State was agog while welcoming the state governor to the inauguration ceremony of the newly constructed expressway connecting Moro, Yakoyo, Ikpetumodu, Ashipa, Ife, and Ibadan since it was last touched far back as 1976. Governor Boyega affirmed that it was the objective of his administration to deliver adequate, quality, and equitable services, as well as project delivery of development agenda of the present dispensation to the Osun populace. Apart from funding all major road projects inherited from previous administration, about 100 road intervention efforts, including construction and rehabilitation of over 80 rural and township roads across the 3 senatorial districts of the state have been executed within 2.5 years in office.
And that we shall continue to muster resources to build strategic roads across the state.
The road network will offer farmers and traders the opportunity to transport their produce and goods to market, as the Boyega-Oyetola-led administration promised to spread amenities to every rural area in the long run, with a view to eliminating crimes and unemployment, as well as check rural-urban migration. The rehabilitation project is to extend to Akinlalu axis of the local government area in due course. From Ikpetumodu, Osun State, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
Let's join Adeola for news making the rounds in Lagos.
Thank you, Kenny. Nigeria is making reference to its numerous anti-piracy interventions and maritime security framework as reasons why the international community should consider a waiver or possible removal of war risk insurance premium on the country-bound cargoes. At a press briefing in Lagos, the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Bashir Jamo, said this payment is having adverse effect on prices of commodities.
Notorious to be the safe haven for crimes and criminality in the world, the Gulf of Guinea attracts more war risk insurance, and ship owners requesting to sail in the region will have to obtain approval from their insurers. This trend is what the federal government said must change, putting into consideration the gradual reduction in piracy and attacks on sea, which are the resultants of the huge infrastructure and legislation committed to ending the menace.
They said they appreciated our commitment. They appreciated the progress made so far. So go back to the benchmarking and see which item and which item you can tick. Tick it, we agree, then reduce the insurance premium so that Nigerians cannot continue to suffer to pay something that they are not due for.
According to Oceans Beyond Piracy reports, Nigerian-bound ships transiting the Gulf of Guinea incurred $55.5 million in 2020 alone as additional war risk area premium, and 35% of ships transiting the area also carried additional kidnap and ransom insurance, totaling $100.7 million.
If today they remove this war risk insurance, each and every Nigerian will be a beneficiary, and at the end of the day, shipping trade will continue to boom in Nigeria. Those international communities that they want to invest in shipping trade and they are afraid because of this stigma, they will now ease off their attention and they will now continue to come and invest.
The alliance signed with the International Coordinating Center on how to enhance the implementation of the Yaoundé architecture is similar to the approach adopted to resolve criminality on the Indian Ocean. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
For Nigeria to be at par with other developed countries in terms of technology advancement and an improved engineering capability, a deliberate attempt at implementing policies to reposition the sector is required. Some key players in the engineering sector say while the body of professionals are bringing scientific knowledge to bear, actions should be intensified to make the sector more viable. Abolade Salami reports.
Delivering a paper titled Locating Engineering and Technology in Government for Growth and Development, Professor Ayo Ogunye, former president, the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, alluded to the fact that no nation develops without due attention to research, technology, and innovation. He identified lack of integration of engineering and technology in policy formulation and implementation as bane to the growth of the sector in the country.
That if you are not registered by current, you don't call yourself engineer. Because current has the yardstick before they make you an engineer. It's not the people carrying screwdriver. The screwdriver carriers call themselves engineers and we recognize them. That should not be the case.
As no country in the world develops without technology or technical know-how, the Nigerian Academy of Engineering is advocating more funding to the Ministry of Science and Technology and the engagement of local engineers in the execution of projects.
We remain convinced that our country would more easily achieve our national aspirations with a more logical and scientific approach to solving identified challenges in all areas of our economy.
Engineering cannot grow without getting into government, without government agreeing to what we are saying. There will be no development. That's just the bottom line. So for you to grow, it's engineering and technology, nothing more, nothing less.
President, Nigerian Academy of Engineering, Alex Ogidegbe, said with over 8 to 10% gross domestic product growth recorded through engineering, technology, and manufacturing sectors in the Chinese economy in the last 2 decades, the Board of Engineering Academia inducted new members to the fold as well as developing this sector in Nigeria. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Welcome back. The National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC Caretaker Extraordinary Convention and Planning Committee, Governor Mai Mala Buni, has approved the appointment of the Governor of Gombe State, Inuwaya Haya, as Chairman of the APC Primary Election Appeal Committee for the Anambra State Governorship election. The committee also has Senator Julius Ocha, Hajia Maryam Mamu Salifu, Alhaji Bukar Ali Dalari and Dr. Ijoma Arodiobu as members. The committee, to be inaugurated on Wednesday, June 30th, 2021, is to hear all appeals arising for the conduct of the primary election in Anambra State. In the meantime, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has approved the nomination of some party members to serve on its governorship primary electoral appeal panel for the November 6 Anambra State election. The party's National Organizing Secretary, Austin Akobundu, in a statement says the 25-member panel is chaired by the PDP National Chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, while the party's National Secretary, Senator Umaru Sauri, is secretary. It adds that the panel will consider appeals arising from the conduct of the Anambra State governorship primary election. Now, Musa Abubakar is here with business news. Musa, is it the bull or the bear?
Well, there's the bear. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission has concluded arrangements to fully commence the review of the nation's revenue allocation formula. Statement by Public Relations Officer of the Commission, Nwachukwu Christian, explained that the review is targeted at the equitable distribution of the accrued revenue into the Federation account to the 3 tiers of government, and this will be concluded before the end of 2021. The Chairman Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Engineer Elias Mbam, disclosed this recently in Abuja while receiving members of the National Assembly Service Commission led by Engineer Ahmed Kadi Amshi on a courtesy visit to his office. Mbam stated that the Commission is one of the 14 executive bodies contained in the 1999 Constitution as amended and saddled with the statutory function of reviewing from time to time the revenue allocation formula and principles in operation to ensure conformity with changing realities alongside monitoring appropriate revenue accruals to the Federation account by the revenue-generating agencies. Now to the capital market. Equities market closed Monday's trading session on a negative note. The all-share index fell 0.19% to close at 37,585.25 basis points, and equity capitalization at 19.6 trillion naira. 163.5 million shares, worth 3.4 billion naira, exchange hands in 3,562 deals. FBN Holdings UBA and Guarantee Trust Holding Company are the most traded shares at the end of the day's trading. That concludes business news. It's back to you, Kenneth.
Thanks, Musa. Now we go on another break. Do stay with us on the Network News.